Hey guys, Mr. T here. Just wanted to do a little guidance video for the finance maths purchasing a car directed investigation. So the task sheet you would have read in class, but I want to demonstrate the first steps that you should take in writing the task and also writing the introduction. So the task sheet always give a brief description of the task and a little section of it on the first page, but usually gives a more guided description of what you're supposed to do after the rubric. So what I always find is it's useful to copy and paste all of those steps into a document so that you have like a little scaffold for yourself. I'm only going to demonstrate down to the end of the math sections because analysis, discussion and conclusion, they're up to you. So I'm going to copy and paste down to the end of saving up for a car. Control C, and I'll open another Word document. I've already done this, so normally you'd copy and paste here, but what you see I've done is I already did it, but I separated the sections onto completely separate pages, so I've got a lot of room to work with for the purpose of this video and for the purposes of your exemplar. Okay, so we're going to start with the introduction. So what are you doing this task? A friend has approached you wanting some advice on purchasing a car because you're good at maths. They want to buy a car that costs between $15,000 and $25,000. They need you to provide them with as much info as possible to assist them in making a decision about taking out the loan. You need to investigate the kind of info that's available on the internet for them to access. You'll then create a report on your investigations for your friend. So part 1, introduction and context. The report should begin by establishing the purpose of the investigation, and then you need to establish your friend's living situation. Their income and living expenses are important to consider to decide on the affordability of the various situations. You'll investigate on their behalf. So you need to know how they're living and how much they're earning, because you're providing them some scenarios, and those scenarios cost money. Okay, so this is an example. Let's do the text in red. Establish the purpose of the investigation. The purpose of the investigation to follow is to lend assistance to the friend who is looking for advice on the best way to purchase a car and save them as much money as possible. This will be achieved by a range of financial maths calculations exhibiting a range of scenarios to establish the considerations that should be occur, maybe. Exhibiting a range of scenarios to establish considerations that should be undertaken. Taking out to purchase a car so as to save as much money as possible, something like that. The purpose of the investigation to follow is to lend assistance to a friend who is looking for advice on the best way to purchase a car and save them as much money as possible. This will be achieved by a range of financial maths calculations exhibiting a range of scenarios to establish the considerations that should be undertaken when looking at taking out a loan to purchase a car so as to save as much money as possible. I've already said that twice. I don't even need to say that. This will be achieved by a range of financial maths calculations exhibiting a range of scenarios to establish the considerations that should be undertaken. Just leave it at that. Said friend is Kanye, who currently resides in Aberfoyle Park. He is a struggling music producer, given some past public indiscretions, leading to him losing a lot of work and connections. We need to establish his income, so let's go online. You can see I've pre-researched some stuff. So what did I Google? Average income of a music producer in Australia. I don't want the AI overview on a website. Glassdoor. I don't want to log in, bro. Let's try Seek. Yeah, 85 grand to $105,000. Kanye earns the average income of a music producer in Australia with an annual income of, let's go on the higher end because it's a bit bougie that way, 105,000, and reference that. So this website, MyBib, Harvard, Australia, paste let it generate a reference for me. So copy in-text citation. Paste and match formatting. Kanye earns the average income of a music producer in Australia with an annual income of $105,000. And we need to consider his living expenses. Cost of living in Australia, something like that. Let's say he's single. Tax rates, education. What's the living cost? $5,105 per month for a single person. It's a monthly cost of living of $5,105. As a result, Kanye's monthly income is $105,000 divided by 12, $87.50. Take away $5,105. 3,645 after expenses are taken into consideration. This monthly income is what Kanye will use to support his car purchase. Something like that, without copying my wording. The report establishes what we're doing and the maths involved. It establishes the context. Why is the context important? Because we need to know how much money we've got to play with when we're looking at the different scenarios to buy the car. So that's setting up the intro and the context. Hopefully that helps you out. See you in the next video.